Commander Baekhyun stood in the center of the monitoring station, watching the endless stars through the large windows. Alpha 7 was one of the most boring posts in the Valthek Empire. Nothing ever happened here at the edge of space. The same patrol routes, the same empty readings day after day. "Commander," called Senior Analyst Mion from her station. "I'm getting something strange on the sensors." Baekhyun walked over to her workstation. The screen showed waves of energy that made no sense. "What am I looking at?" "I don't know, sir. There's something big out there, but the computer says there's nothing." Mion pointed at two different screens. One showed massive energy readings. The other showed empty space. "The readings don't match," Baekhyun frowned. In 20 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. "Run a full diagnostic on the sensor array." "Already did, sir. 3 times. The sensors are working perfectly." Mion's voice was nervous. "Whatever is out there, it's huge. Bigger than a dreadnought. That's impossible. Our sensors can detect a coin floating in space from 1,000 kilometers away." Baekhyun studied the readings again. The energy signature was enormous, but their best scanners showed nothing at those coordinates. "Should I contact Fleet Command?" Mion asked. "Not yet. Send Captain Taehyun to investigate first. If there's really something there, we need to know what it is." 20 minutes later, Captain Taehyun received his orders aboard the patrol cruiser Dominion's Edge. His ship was small but fast, perfect for checking strange sensor readings that usually turned out to be space junk or meteor fragments. "Take us to those coordinates." "Soman," Taehyun told his navigation officer. "Yes, sir." Officer Soman started the engines and set course for the mystery location. "Sir, I'm reading gravitational distortions at the target area." "Gravitational distortions? From what?" "Unknown, sir. It's like something massive is bending space around it, but I can't see anything on the screens." Taehyun felt a chill run down his spine. Gravitational distortions meant mass. Lots of mass. But their sensors showed empty space. "Slow to half speed. Keep all weapons ready just in case." Communications Officer Jimin looked up from his station. "Sir, I'm picking up some kind of interference. It's very weak, but it's there." "What kind of interference?" "I'm not sure. It's like something is actively hiding from us." The Dominion's Edge crept forward through space. Every sensor was active, scanning for any sign of what was causing the strange readings. The crew was tense. Something was wrong, but nobody could say what. "Sir," Soman shouted suddenly. Something just appeared on the visual scanners. Taehyun spun around to look at the main screen. What he saw made his blood freeze. A massive ship hung in space directly in front of them. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The hull was dark and smooth, covered in strange markings that looked like writing from an unknown language. "Where did that come from?" Taehyun demanded. "I don't know, sir. One second there was nothing, the next second this ship was there." Soman was checking his instruments frantically. "It's huge, sir. At least twice the size of an Imperial dreadnought. How is that possible? Our sensors should have detected it from light years away." "I don't know, sir. The computer still says there's nothing there, even though we can see it with our own eyes." Jimin was working at his communication station. "Sir, I'm trying to contact them, but they're not responding to any standard frequencies." "Keep trying. Use all emergency channels." Taehyun studied the strange ship. Its design was completely alien. Not alien like the other species in the Empire, but truly alien, like it came from somewhere far beyond known space. "Sir," Soman said quietly, "the ship is moving." Taehyun watched as the massive vessel slowly turned toward the inner system. It moved smoothly, without any visible engines or exhaust. "Where is it going?" "Directly toward SciFiPrime, sir. Contact Admiral Heejin immediately. Priority 1 emergency." Jimin's fingers flew over his controls. Within moments, Admiral Heejin's stern face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Taehyun, what is your status?" "Admiral, we have an unknown vessel at coordinate 77 Mark IV. It's massive and completely unidentified. They're not responding to communications and they're heading toward SciFiPrime." Admiral Heejin's eyes narrowed. "Show me." Taehyun switched the view to show the strange ship. Even Admiral Heejin, who had seen everything in 40 years of service, looked shocked. "What in the name of the Empire is that thing?" "We don't know, Admiral. It just appeared out of nowhere. Our sensors couldn't detect it until it showed itself." "And you're certain it's heading for SciFiPrime?" "Yes, Admiral. Current course and speed will bring it to the planet in 6 hours." Admiral Heejin was quiet for a moment, thinking. "Maintain your distance, Captain." Do not approach that vessel. I'm deploying Battle Group Zeta to intercept. Yes, Admiral, the communication ended. Taehyun turned to his crew. You heard the Admiral. Keep us at a safe distance and monitor that ship. Record everything. For the next hour, they watched the mysterious vessel glide through space. It seemed to ignore them completely. No scans, no communications, no acknowledgement that they were there. Sir. Mion's voice came over the communication from the monitoring station. We're reading more energy signatures. Battle Group Zeta is approaching. Taehyun nodded. Battle Group Zeta was one of the Empire's most powerful fleets. 12 heavy cruisers and 2 dreadnoughts. If this unknown ship was hostile, the battle group would handle it quickly. Sir, someone said suddenly, the ship is changing course. What? Where is it going now? Still toward Corax Prime, but it's moving faster. Much faster. Taehyun watched as the alien vessel increased its speed. Whatever engines it used produced no heat signature, no energy trail. It just moved faster, as if the laws of physics didn't apply to it. Sir, Battle Group Zeta will intercept in 30 minutes. Good. Keep recording everything. Command will want to study every detail. But deep in his gut, Taehyun felt that something terrible was about to happen. This ship, whatever it was, had technology far beyond anything the Empire had ever seen. It could hide from their best sensors and move without visible propulsion. What other capabilities might it have? Sir, incoming message from the alien vessel. Taehyun's heart jumped. Put it on screen. But the screen remained dark. Only a voice came through the speakers, speaking perfect Imperial standard. We see you watching us. Do not interfere. We have business with your Empire. Then silence. The communication ended as quickly as it began. Taehyun stared at the screen. The voice had been calm, almost friendly. But something in the tone promised that interference would not be tolerated. Battle Group Zeta was still approaching. Soon they would find out what this mysterious ship was capable of. Admiral Woojin stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Imperial Wrath, watching the unknown vessel on his main screen. Battle Group Zeta was spread out in perfect formation around the alien ship. 12 heavy cruisers and 2 dreadnoughts formed a circle of steel and firepower that no enemy had ever broken. Admiral, we're in position, reported Captain Dayun from the cruiser Starpiercer. Her voice was confident over the communication channel. The target is completely surrounded. Excellent, Captain. All ships maintain formation. Do not fire unless I give the order. Wu Jin studied the strange ship in the center of their formation. It continued to move toward Corax Prime as if the entire battle group didn't exist. Sir, said his communication officer, should we try to contact them again? Yes, open all frequencies. Wu Jin cleared his throat. Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Wu Jin of the Valthek Imperial Navy. You are in violation of Imperial space. Stop your engines immediately and prepare to be boarded. The alien ship didn't respond. It didn't even slow down. Unknown vessel, this is your final warning. Stop your engines now or we will use force. Still nothing. The ship continued its steady course toward the inner system. Admiral, Captain Dayun's voice came over the speakers. Their energy readings are off the charts. Whatever powers that thing, it's bigger than our reactors. Wu Jin nodded grimly. All ships prepare warning shots. Target their engines only. We want answers, not wreckage. The battle group's weapons powered up. Plasma batteries swiveled to target the mysterious ship's rear section. Warning shots were standard procedure. A few hits to non-critical systems usually convince stubborn captains to cooperate. All ships fire warning shots. Brilliant beams of energy lanced out from the Imperial warships. The plasma bolts streaked through space toward the alien vessel. Each shot was carefully aimed to disable the ship's propulsion without destroying it. The energy beams struck an invisible barrier around the ship and simply vanished. They didn't explode or deflect. They just disappeared as if they had never existed. What in the Empire? Wu Jin stared at his screens. All ships report. Direct hits, Admiral, called Captain Dayun. But our weapons had no effect at all. It's like they hit some kind of shield that absorbed the energy completely. That's impossible. No shield technology can absorb that much plasma energy without showing any reaction. Suddenly, the alien ship changed. Ports opened along its hull, revealing weapons that glowed with an eerie blue light. The energy reading spiked beyond anything the Imperial sensors could measure. Admiral, shouted his tactical officer. The target is powering weapons. All ships evasive maneuvers. Prepare for... The alien ship fired. Blue beams of energy reached out with impossible precision. Each beam was thin as a pencil, but contained more power than an Imperial main gun. They moved faster than anything Wu Jin had ever seen, striking their targets before his crews could react. The cruiser Titan's hammer exploded instantly as a blue beam pierced its reactor core. The dreadnought Eternal Glory lost all power as multiple beams struck its engine sections with surgical precision. One by one, the ships of Battle Group Zeta were crippled or destroyed by weapons that seemed to know exactly where to hit. Starpiercer is taking critical damage. Captain Dayun's voice was filled with static and panic. We've lost shields, engines, and main weapons. I'm reading breaches on decks 7 through 12. Captain, get your people to the escape pods. Negative, Admiral. We're going to try to... The Starpiercer's communication cut off as the ship exploded in a ball of white fire. Captain Dayun and her entire crew were gone in an instant. All ships retreat, Wu Jin shouted into his communicator. Battle Group Zeta withdraw immediately. But half his ships were already dead in space. The alien vessel had fired for less than 30 seconds and destroyed or crippled 8 Imperial warships. The surviving ships turned to flee, their engines straining to escape the range of those terrible blue weapons. Wu Jin watched in horror as his proud battle group scattered like frightened children. In 40 years of service, he had never seen such devastating firepower used with such precision. Every shot had been perfect. Every target had been chosen to cause maximum damage with minimum energy. Admiral, his sensor officer said quietly, the alien ship has stopped firing. It's resuming course toward Corax Prime. Wu Jin looked at the tactical display. The unknown vessel was moving again. Ignoring the wreckage of his fleet as if it were nothing more than space debris, it had defended itself and then simply continued on its way. Sir, incoming communication from Fleet Command. Admiral Hiejin's face appeared on screen. Her expression was grim. Admiral Wu Jin, report your status. Battle Group Zeta has been destroyed, Admiral. 8 ships lost, 4 ships heavily damaged. We engaged the unknown vessel with warning shots and it responded with weapons we've never seen before. Describe these weapons. Blue energy beams, impossibly accurate, more powerful than our main guns. They seem to ignore our shield technology completely. Each shot was placed with surgical precision to cause maximum damage. Admiral Hiejin was quiet for a long moment. Admiral, you are to withdraw all remaining ships to Corax Prime immediately. Do not engage that vessel again under any circumstances. Admiral, what about the people on Corax Prime? If that ship reaches the planet, we're mobilizing the 7th Fleet. Every available ship is being called to defend Corax Prime. Wu Jin felt a chill. The 7th Fleet hadn't been fully mobilized in over a century. It was the Empire's most powerful force with over 200 warships. Admiral, what exactly are we dealing with here? We don't know, Admiral. But whatever that ship is, it represents a threat to the entire Empire. Get your surviving ships to safety and prepare a full report. Command needs to know everything about these new weapons. The communication ended. Wu Jin looked around his bridge at the shocked faces of his crew. They had all witnessed something that shouldn't be possible. A single ship had destroyed most of Battle Group Zeta in less than a minute. Sir, his communication officer said, we're receiving distress signals from the Eternal Glory. They're requesting immediate assistance. Send rescue ships to all survivors. Get our people off those wrecks as fast as possible. Yes, sir. Wu Jin stared at the main screen, where the alien ship continued its steady approach toward Corax Prime. Whatever that vessel was, whoever was controlling it, they had just announced themselves to the Empire in the most dramatic way possible. And somehow, Wu Jin knew this was only the beginning. The way that ship had fought, the precision of its weapons, the complete superiority of its technology. It wasn't exploring or lost. It had come here with a purpose. Sir, the alien vessel is increasing speed again. At current rate, it will reach Corax Prime in 4 hours. 4 hours. The 7th Fleet would barely have time to get into position. And if this one ship could destroy Battle Group Zeta so easily, what chance did they have against it? Wu Jin had a terrible feeling that the Valtech Empire was about to face its greatest challenge in 1,000 years, and they were completely unprepared for it. Emperor Ji-hoon sat on his golden throne in the center of the Imperial Palace on Zephyria. The throne room was massive, with walls covered in paintings showing the Empire's greatest victories over the past 1,000 years. Today, those victories felt very far away. Your Majesty, Fleet Marshal Do-hyun approached the throne with urgent news. Battle Group Zeta has been destroyed. Admiral Wu Jin's report confirms that a single unknown vessel eliminated 8 Imperial warships in less than 1 minute. The Emperor's face remained calm, but his hands gripped the throne tighter. One ship? Yes, Your Majesty. The vessel appears to have weapon technology far superior to our own. It completely ignored our plasma weapons and responded with energy beams that cut through our shields like they didn't exist. Empress Nayan, standing beside the throne, spoke quietly. Husband, perhaps we should try to communicate with them, find out what they want. We tried, my dear. They ignored all attempts at contact until they were fired upon. Then they destroyed our ships and continued toward Corax Prime. The Emperor stood up from his throne. Marshal Dohyun, mobilize the 7th Fleet immediately. Every ship we have. Already done, Your Majesty. Admiral Minho is taking command personally. We'll have over 200 warships in position within 3 hours. And if that's not enough? Marshal Dohyun hesitated. Then we use the planet destroyer, Your Majesty. The throne room fell silent. The planet destroyer was the Empire's ultimate weapon, built from technology inherited from their ancient predecessors. It had never been used, but everyone knew it existed. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, the Emperor said softly. Meanwhile, at Corax Prime, Defense Coordinator Seok Jin was preparing the planet's defenses. Corax Prime was one of the most heavily defended worlds in the Empire, with thousands of automated weapon platforms orbiting the planet. All defense stations report ready, announced his aide. The orbital network is fully operational. Seok Jin nodded, watching the tactical displays. The mysterious ship would arrive in 2 hours. The 7th Fleet was still an hour away. For 60 minutes, Corax Prime would have to defend itself. Sir, the alien vessel is entering our sensor range. On the main screen, the strange ship appeared as a dark silhouette against the stars. It was beautiful in a way, its smooth hull gleaming under the light of Corax Prime's sun. But Seok Jin knew that beauty hid terrible weapons. All defense platforms target the unknown vessel. Prepare to fire on my command. Thousands of weapons locked onto the approaching ship. Plasma cannons, missile launchers, and energy beam projectors all aimed at the single target. Enough firepower to destroy a small moon focused on one vessel. The alien ship entered Corax Prime's orbital space without slowing down. It seemed to ignore the massive defensive network aimed at it. Sir, should we fire? Seokjin hesitated. Battle Group Zeta had fired first and been destroyed. But if he didn't fire, the ship might attack the planet directly. Sir, the vessel is launching smaller craft. Seokjin watched in amazement as dozens of small fighters emerged from the alien ship. They were sleek and fast, moving in perfect formation as they spread out around the planet. All defense platforms, engage the fighters. The orbital weapons opened fire. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the alien fighters. It should have been a massacre. The fighters were outnumbered 100 to 1. But something impossible happened. The alien fighters moved like they knew exactly where every shot would go before it was fired. They twisted and spun through the defensive fire, dodging weapons that should have been impossible to avoid. How are they doing that? Seokjin demanded. I don't know, sir. It's like they can predict every shot. The alien fighters reached the defense platforms and opened fire with their own weapons. Their guns were small but incredibly powerful, slicing through the Imperial shields and armor like cutting paper. Platform after platform exploded as the fighters swept through the defensive network. Sir, we're losing platforms faster than I can count. The fighters are destroying everything. Seokjin watched helplessly as centuries of Imperial engineering were torn apart in minutes. The alien fighters moved with impossible precision, each one destroying multiple platforms before moving on to the next target. Sir, Admiral Minho is requesting permission to engage. Seokjin looked at his tactical display. The 7th Fleet had arrived early, taking position between the alien ship and Corax Prime. Over 200 Imperial warships formed the largest battle formation in the Empire's history. Tell Admiral Minho he has permission to engage. All weapons free. Admiral Minho stood on the bridge of his flagship, the massive dreadnought Emperor's Will. Around him, the greatest fleet in Imperial history prepared for battle. All ships, this is Admiral Minho. We are facing an unknown enemy with superior technology. They have already proven they can destroy our ships quickly and efficiently. Do not underestimate them." His communication officer looked up. "Sir, all ships report ready for battle." "Very well. All ships, attack formation. Target the main vessel. Ignore the fighters for now." The 7th Fleet moved forward in perfect formation. 200 ships advancing together was a sight that had terrified enemies for centuries. But today, they were facing something they had never encountered before. "All ships, open fire." The combined firepower of 200 warships lit up space like a second sun. Thousands of plasma beams and missiles streaked toward the alien vessel. It was enough energy to destroy a small planet. The alien ship's shields absorbed every shot without showing any strain. The massive barrage that should have vaporized any known vessel simply disappeared into the strange energy barrier surrounding the ship. "Impossible," Admiral Minho whispered. "No shield can absorb that much energy." The alien ship's weapon ports opened again, revealing those terrible blue lights. But this time, there were dozens of them. The ship had been holding back during the first battle. "All ships, evasive maneuvers." The blue beams reached out across space with deadly precision. Each beam found a critical target on an Imperial ship. Engine sections exploded, command bridges were vaporized, weapon systems were destroyed with surgical accuracy. The dreadnought Thunder's roar broke in half as multiple beams struck its hull. The cruiser Star's Edge lost all power and began to drift helplessly. One by one, the proud ships of the 7th Fleet were crippled or destroyed. "Sir, we're losing. Ships faster than we can count. The alien weapons are too accurate." Admiral Minho watched his fleet being torn apart. In 30 years of command, he had never seen such devastating firepower used with such precision. Every shot was perfect. Every target was chosen for maximum effect. "All ships, retreat. Full withdrawal." But it was too late for many ships. The alien vessel continued firing until over half the 7th Fleet was destroyed or crippled. Then, just as suddenly as it had started, the firing stopped. The remaining Imperial ships fled in disorder, leaving behind the wreckage of the Empire's greatest fleet. Admiral Minho stared at his tactical display in shock. In less than an hour, a single alien vessel had defeated the most powerful military force in the galaxy. "Sir, the alien ship is moving toward Corax Prime." Admiral Minho watched helplessly as the mysterious vessel glided past the wreckage of his fleet and took position in orbit over Corax Prime. The alien fighters had finished destroying the orbital defenses and were returning to their mothership. "Sir, incoming message from the alien vessel." "Put it on screen." The main display showed a human face for the first time. The man appeared middle-aged, with calm eyes and a confident expression. "I am Captain Sunwoo of the Earth vessel Terra's Resolve. We have demonstrated that your military cannot stop us. We wish to speak with your leaders." Admiral Minho found his voice. What do you want?" "Justice," Captain Sunwoo replied simply. "Your empire has ruled this galaxy for too long. That ends today." The communication cut off, leaving Admiral Minho staring at a blank screen. The impossible had happened. The Valthek Empire, rulers of the galaxy for 1,000 years, had been defeated by a single ship. The Imperial Emergency Council met in the deepest chamber of the palace on Zephyria. The room was built to survive planetary bombardment, with walls thick enough to stop any known weapon. Today those walls felt very thin. Emperor Jihoon sat at the head of the massive table, surrounded by his most trusted advisors. The reports from Corax Prime had shaken the Empire to its core. For the first time in 1,000 years, Imperial forces had been completely defeated. "The situation is worse than we thought," announced Intelligence Director Jisu, standing before a large screen showing tactical reports. "Our analysis of the battle shows that this alien ship was holding back during both engagements." "Holding back?" Marshal Doyun leaned forward. "They destroyed Battle Group Zeta and half the 7th Fleet." "Yes, but they could have done much worse. Each shot was precisely placed to disable or destroy specific systems. They never targeted crew areas unless necessary. If they wanted to cause maximum casualties, they could have killed everyone." Ancient Counselor Jungi, the oldest member of the council at nearly 200 years old, cleared his throat. I may have some answers about who these people are. The room fell silent. Counselor Jungi had access to the Empire's most secret historical archives. Counselor, the Emperor prompted. 3,000 years ago, during the Great Expansion, several colony ships left our space heading for the void between galaxies. They were outcasts, rebels who refused to accept Imperial rule. We thought they had died in the empty darkness. Jungi activated a holographic display showing ancient star charts. The ships were primitive, their technology basic. We assumed they would never survive the journey to another galaxy. It seems we were wrong. You're saying these are descendants of Imperial citizens? Empress Neon asked. Possibly. But if so, they have developed far beyond us. Their technology is completely alien to our understanding. Director Jisoo nodded. Our scientists have analyzed the weapon signatures. The energy patterns don't match anything in our databases. It's like they discovered entirely new laws of physics. How is that possible? The Emperor demanded. Necessity, said Counselor Jungi quietly. We became comfortable with our dominance. Our technology hasn't advanced significantly in centuries, but people struggling to survive in the void would have to innovate constantly or die. Meanwhile, aboard the Terra's Resolve, Captain Sunwoo walked through the ship's corridors toward the bridge. The vessel was a miracle of human engineering, built in secret shipyards hidden in the space between galaxies. Captain, Navigator Eugen called as he entered the bridge. We're receiving communications from across Imperial space. Word of our arrival is spreading faster than we expected. Show me. The main screen displayed dozens of communication channels from different worlds. Sunwoo listened as reports came in from planets throughout the Empire. This is Kepler Station in the Vega system. Imperial garrison has surrendered. Local population is celebrating in the streets. Tau Ceti colonies declaring independence from Imperial rule. They're asking for protection from retaliation. Rebel forces on Altair Prime have seized the government buildings. They want to know if the Liberation Fleet is real. Sunwoo smiled grimly. It's beginning. Eugen, how long until the rest of our fleet arrives? 18 hours, Captain. Admiral Jungi reports all ships are in position at the rally point. Good. Dowan, what's the status of our intelligence gathering? Weapons Officer Dowan looked up from his station. We've intercepted Imperial communications from their capital. They're trying to figure out who we are and what we want. Our infiltration systems have been monitoring their networks for months. And what have we learned? The Empire is more fragile than they realize. Their military doctrine hasn't changed in centuries. Their technology is stagnant. Most importantly, half the galaxy hates them, but has been too afraid to resist. Chief Engineer Hana approached the captain's chair. Sir, our long-range sensors are detecting massive energy buildup at the Imperial capital. They're powering something big. The Planet Destroyer, Sunwoo said calmly. His crew looked at him in surprise. Dowan spoke first. Sir, you know about their ultimate weapon? We've known about it for years. Our intelligence network has been very thorough. Sunwoo studied the tactical displays. They're desperate enough to consider using it. That means our demonstration was effective. Captain, a planet killer weapon could destroy entire star systems. Are we prepared for that level of escalation? Sunwoo turned to face his crew. These men and women had trained their entire lives for this mission. They knew the risks. Our ancestors left this galaxy because they refused to live under Imperial tyranny. For 3,000 years, humanity has grown strong in exile. We've developed technology the Empire can't imagine. We've built a civilization based on freedom instead of fear. He gestured toward the view screen showing Corax Prime below them. The people of this galaxy have suffered under Imperial rule for centuries. Entire species have been enslaved. Worlds have been stripped bare to feed the Empire's greed. We didn't come here to conquer. We came to liberate. But sir, Navigator Eugen said quietly, if they use the Planet Destroyer. They won't, Sunwoo said with confidence, because we're going to give them a better option. Back on Zephyria, the Emergency Council was reaching a decision. The debate had gone on for hours, but the conclusion was inevitable. We cannot allow this alien threat to continue unchallenged, Emperor Ji-hoon declared. If one ship can destroy our greatest fleet, imagine what damage their entire armada could do. Your Majesty, Counselor Jungi said carefully, perhaps we should attempt negotiations first. They claim to want justice. Maybe we can reach an understanding. They destroyed our ships without warning. They invaded our space and attacked our forces. Actually, Director Jisoo interrupted. Our ships fired first in both engagements. The aliens only responded after being attacked. The Emperor's face darkened. Are you defending them? I'm stating facts, Your Majesty. They could have destroyed Corax Prime by now, but they haven't. They're orbiting peacefully, waiting for something. Waiting for what? For us to respond to their demands, I think. Marshal Dohyun stood up. Your Majesty, we cannot negotiate from a position of weakness. If we activate the planet destroyer, we show them that the Empire still has power. And if it doesn't work, Empress Nyon asked quietly, then we're no worse off than before. The Emperor looked around the table at his advisors. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to negotiate. The choice was his alone. Prepare the planet destroyer, he said finally. But don't fire it yet. First, we try one more time to communicate with these aliens. If they refuse to leave our space peacefully, then we use our ultimate weapon. Director Jisoo activated the long-range communications array. Within minutes, she had established contact with the alien ship. Captain Sunwoo's face appeared on the council chamber's main screen. His expression was calm but determined. I am Emperor Jihoon of the Valthek Empire. You have attacked our ships and invaded our territory. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Your Majesty, Sunwoo replied respectfully. I am Captain Sunwoo, representing humanity and the free worlds beyond your borders. We have not invaded your territory. We have returned to claim what was always ours, the right to exist free from tyranny. You destroyed our fleets, only after they attacked us. We defended ourselves with minimal necessary force. If we wanted destruction, Corax Prime would already be gone. The Emperor leaned forward. What do you want? The end of your empire's rule over unwilling subjects. Freedom for the enslaved worlds. Justice for the crimes committed in the name of imperial glory. Impossible. The Empire has maintained order in this galaxy for 1,000 years. Order built on oppression is not order at all. It's tyranny waiting to collapse. Emperor Jihoon felt his anger rising. You dare lecture me about governing? Your people fled this galaxy like cowards 3,000 years ago. Sunwoo's expression hardened. Our ancestors left because they refused to bow to tyrants. In exile, we built something better. Now we've returned to share that gift with the galaxy. And if we refuse, then you've chosen war with an enemy you cannot defeat. The communication ended abruptly. Emperor Jihoon stared at the blank screen, his decision made. Activate the planet destroyer. Captain Sunwoo's message spread across the galaxy faster than the Empire could stop it. On 1,000 worlds, billions of people heard the words they had waited centuries to hear. We are humanity, children of Earth. We have returned to find the galaxy under the rule of tyrants. This ends now. On the mining world of Veros 7, worker Kyung-hoon threw down his tools and looked up at the sky. For 50 years, he had dug precious metals from the planet's crust to feed the Empire's war machine. Today, for the first time in his life, he felt hope. Did you hear that? He called to his fellow miners. Someone finally stood up to the Empire. Similar scenes played out across Imperial space. On factory worlds, in slave colonies, in the overcrowded cities of a dozen species, people began to believe that freedom was possible. The Imperial government tried to control the message, but it was too late. The communication had been broadcast on every frequency, translated into every language. There was no stopping it now. On Altair Prime, Governor Minjae received urgent reports from his security forces. Sir, there are riots in the capital city. The local population is demanding independence. Deploy the garrison. Use whatever force necessary to restore order. Sir, the garrison has joined the rebels. They've barricaded themselves in the government complex with the local resistance leaders. Governor Minjae stared at his aide in shock. Imperial soldiers had never turned against the Empire before. Never. Contact Fleet Command. Request immediate military support. I'm trying, sir, but communication with the capital is being jammed. We're on our own. Similar reports came in from across the galaxy. On world after world, Imperial control was crumbling as people rose up against their oppressors. But aboard the Terra's Resolve, Captain Sunwoo was focused on the immediate threat. Chief Engineer Hana had been monitoring Imperial communications and detected the activation of their ultimate weapon. Captain, they're powering up the planet destroyer. Energy readings are off the charts. Where is it? Hidden in the asteroid belt around their capital system. It's built into a massive asteroid, disguised to look like a natural formation. Sunwoo nodded grimly. They had known this moment would come. Contact Admiral Yunji. Tell her to bring the fleet through now. Navigator Yujin worked at her station. Message sent, Captain. The fleet should arrive within the hour. Good. Hana, prepare the shield matrix. We're going to need every bit of protection we can get. Already on it, Captain. The matrix is charging now. Weapons Officer Dowen looked up from his instruments. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy buildup from the planet destroyer. They're preparing to fire. In the asteroid belt around Zephyria, the ancient weapon slowly revealed itself. What had appeared to be a large asteroid split open like a flower, revealing the most powerful weapon ever built. Energy crackled between massive focusing crystals as the device prepared to unleash destruction. Emperor Jihoon watched from his palace as the planet destroyer powered up. Marshal Do-hyun, are you certain this will work? Yes, Your Majesty. The weapon was built by our predecessors using technology we barely understand. It can destroy entire star systems if necessary. And if the alien ship survives? Nothing can survive a direct hit from the planet destroyer, Your Majesty. Nothing. But Marshal Do-hyun was wrong. As the ancient weapon fired its devastating beam toward HFY, something impossible happened. The human ship didn't try to dodge or run. Instead, it activated a shield unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. The planet destroyer's beam struck the Terra's resolve with enough energy to crack a planet in half. But instead of destroying the ship, the energy was absorbed into a shimmering barrier that surrounded the vessel. The shield glowed brighter and brighter as it absorbed the massive energy discharge. Impossible, whispered Marshal Do-hyun as he watched the readings. That much energy should have vaporized them. But Captain Sunwoo had one final surprise. As the shield absorbed the planet destroyer's energy, it began to redirect that power back toward its source. Hana, are we ready? Shield matrix is at maximum capacity, Captain. We can't hold this much longer. Then let's give it back to them. Fire! The Terra's resolve released the absorbed energy in a focused beam that struck the planet destroyer directly. The ancient weapon, designed to dish out destruction but not to receive it, exploded in a flash of light visible from across the star system. The shockwave destroyed the Imperial dreadnought carrying the weapon and sent fragments of the asteroid spinning through space. The Empire's ultimate weapon, their final guarantee of power, was gone. At that moment, space around HFY filled with new arrivals. Dozens, then hundreds of human ships emerged from jump space. The Liberation Fleet had arrived. Admiral Yoonji's flagship, the massive carrier New Earth, took position beside the Terra's resolve. Captain Sunwoo opened a communication channel to address both fleets. People of the galaxy, today marks the end of Imperial tyranny. These ships carry not weapons of conquest but tools of liberation, medical supplies for worlds poisoned by Imperial factories, terraform equipment to restore planets stripped bare by Imperial mining, food and aid for populations kept hungry to maintain control. More human ships continued to arrive. Not just warships, but hospital ships, supply vessels, construction platforms, and colony transports. The Liberation Fleet was prepared for more than just military victory. On Zephyria, Emperor Jihoon watched his empire crumble in real time. Reports came in of rebellions on dozens of worlds. Imperial garrisons were surrendering or joining the rebels. The communication networks were flooded with declarations of independence. Your Majesty, Director Jisoo approached the throne carefully. We're receiving a communication from the human fleet. They want to negotiate. Negotiate? They've destroyed our ultimate weapon and half our fleet. They're offering terms, Your Majesty. Surprisingly generous ones. Captain Sunwoo's face appeared on the throne room's main screen. Behind him, the bridge of the Terra's resolve showed calm efficiency rather than the chaos of war. Your Majesty, the Valthek Empire's time as the sole ruler of this galaxy is over, but it doesn't have to end in destruction. What are your terms? The Emperor asked through gritted teeth. First, all enslaved worlds must be granted immediate independence. Second, Imperial forces must withdraw from occupied territories. Third, the Empire must stand trial for war crimes committed against civilian populations. And if we refuse, then we continue this war until every Imperial stronghold falls. Your choice. Empress Neon stepped forward. And if we agree, then the Empire becomes one voice among many in a new galactic council. No single species will dominate others. Disputes will be settled through negotiation, not force. Emperor Jihoon looked around his throne room at the paintings of Imperial victories. All those conquered worlds, all those defeated enemies, and now the Empire itself faced defeat. You're asking us to give up everything we've built. I'm asking you to give up tyranny. The Empire can still exist, but as an equal partner, not as a master. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. Outside the palace, he could hear the sound of distant explosions as rebel forces fought Imperial troops in the streets of his own capital. Very well. The Empire accepts your terms. The surrender was broadcast across the galaxy. On 1,000 worlds, people celebrated in the streets. The Valthek Empire, which had ruled with an iron fist for over a millennium, had fallen. But Captain Sunwoo knew this was only the beginning. As the Liberation Fleet spread out across Imperial space, each ship carried the same message of freedom. Humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as liberators. On the mining world of Vero 7, worker Kyung-hoon put down his tools for the last time. A human medical ship was orbiting his world, offering treatment for the lung disease caused by decades of toxic mining. For the first time in 50 years, he had hope for the future. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of Imperial dominance was over. The age of freedom had begun. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, other human fleets received word of the successful liberation. Plans that had been prepared for centuries began to unfold. The Terra's resolve had been just the beginning. Humanity had returned to the galaxy, and they would never leave it in chains again. Captain Sunwoo stood on his bridge, looking out at the stars. Tomorrow would bring new challenges as the galaxy learned to live without Imperial rule. But today, billions of people were free who had been slaves yesterday. Navigator Eugen set course for the Centauri system. There are more worlds to liberate. Yes, Captain. Course laid in. The Terra's resolve turned away from Corax Prime and headed toward the next star system. Behind them, other human ships were already beginning the work of healing the wounds left by centuries of Imperial rule. The Empire had ruled through fear. Humanity would rule through hope. And across the galaxy, on world after world, people looked up at the stars and saw freedom.